The mugshot, we've all seen the mugshot. And you know who embraced it more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible.
Now, with the statement that Donald Trump made, it caused a big uproar on both the Republican side, the Democratic side, and the independent side, or whoever else. Now, on the Republican side, majority of people liked the statement and said, you know, it is true. On the Democratic side, most people said this is racist. And you know, the most people always be the rich, the ones who live in gated communities, the one who don't associate with regular black people, those blacks or those Democrat. Now, I'm neither Democrat or Republican. I vote for who fit the Bible the best, if that make any sense. So I'm independent in one sense, and I am biblical. I'm a biblical Christian. So whichever candidate makes sense to me biblically, that's who I will go for. So once you taking away freedom of speech, support abortion, once you want to take away my right to bear arms, bam, I am not voting for you. The reason is freedom of speech. If you take away my freedom of speech, that means you're going to control what I say about God and the Bible. And I believe that at the moment of conception, that baby has a spirit, becomes a living soul. And when you kill that child, you're committed murder, whether you're doing it ignorantly or you're aware of it. And some people may say, oh, this is just a fetus, but fetus means baby, I think in Latin. So it just means a baby. But somehow, because, what again, we don't really study and research anything, we believe what the media said. So again, I'm not taking anybody's side but the Bible side. That's it. So if Trump is for freedom of speech, if Trump is against abortion, if Trump is support the right to bear arms, I'm going to vote for him, because everything else we can deal with. But once you take away my freedom of speech, if a transgender want to date me, I can't even say no. Else I'll be racist. I can't say anything. So I can't question anyone. So I don't want to deal with a person or vote for anyone who's going to put me in that predicament. But that's not why we're here. That's just extra. So as we hear about this statement that Donald Trump has said, guess who can relate to this statement? Those in the poor neighborhoods. White, black, pink, and purple. Because they're in the same boat, just sometimes different location, and the environment may be different. But I've been in situation where I was tossed in jail. Yeah, it probably was for overnight, but the way that police officer treated me, it was unfair. It was unfair, and that's on my record. So I've understood what police brutality is. because I've experienced it. I've experienced where I was dating a young lady and the police officer find her attractive and would pull her over and hit on her. And, you know, he has the power. So the point I'm making, then I've experienced where police officers has gone to the extent for me. I remember when I was working in Miami Lakes and I had a stick shift Volkswagen and my starter went. The police officer, a few of them came up, run my tag to make sure it's my car, and they pushed it to give me that jump start. And I was able to get home and then change my starter. Trust me, I've encountered more nice officers than bad ones. I'm 47 years old and I must have encountered 2 bad police officers, maybe 3. But I tell you, I've encountered hundreds of, and it's not because they were nice to me. As a matter of fact, one night I got pulled over and I was doing almost 100 trying to overtake a tractor trailer where it seems as though he was falling asleep. I got pulled over. The police officer said, "Man, I could arrest you for going that fast." And that police officer was so nice that if he had given me a ticket, I'll take it and frame it and put it on the wall. He could have tossed me in jail. He could have called me the N-word. I'm just, joking. But it was a nice police officer. And the point I'm making, right? We don't always have a middle ground. We either go all left or all right. Either all police officers are good or all police officers are bad. Not a lot of people bring a middle point of view. And they both sides can't always be right. So when Donald Trump said this, yes, he's correct. You have police officers, especially before they had mandatory, they had to wear mandatory body cam. You have a lot of them who have planted drugs. You even see some of them plant drugs in people's car on camera. And the thing that I dislike the most, you have Charles Barkley, you have Stephen A. Simmons, you have a lot of these people who they live in white neighborhoods. Their kids go to white schools. They barely come to the hood. And if they come into the hood, they bring in all kind of security. And nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying, you can't relate. Yeah, you may say, yeah, I've grown up in the hood. Yeah, back in the 60s. But you have lived above that for all your life. So these are the people who are speaking about or are speaking for the hood, for the ghetto, for the inner cities, for the poor communities. These are the people who are speaking for them. So now, Donald Trump got to taste a little piece of that. How being arrested without no cause, being accused, and how lie the system is, how fraudulent the system can be. So now what he's saying is true, because I could relate to it. Not because he's a white person. That's why I hate this terminology, white and black. You mainly hear it in the Western cultures and countries. Like in Jamaica, it's not that we don't say white or black, but we look at this man as Jamaican. So yeah, we have a habit of calling people how they look in Jamaica. If you're big, most people call me big man. You know, if you're a farmer, they'll call you a farmer. I think that's how a lot of people got their got their last name. So yeah, we'll say Trump is a white man, but we're looking at him as Jamaican, if he was Jamaican. In America here, we're Spanish over here, we have blacks over here, we have whites over here, Indians over here, but we don't really count ourselves as American. It's just, what they call it? America does not define you as the noun. So I am not an American that is black. I am a black American. So in one sense, nothing wrong with that. But in one sense, and nothing wrong with it to say I'm a black American or a white American or this. But we don't use all I'm saying I'm Spanish, I'm Cuban, I'm Jamaican. It's like we don't want to be associated with the term America. So now we are separated. And you see, in Christianity, it's not good to say I'm a black Christian, because Christians is who really define you, but we see the same kind of thing in Christianity. This is a black church over here. I don't know when Christ made a black church. I know Christ made a blood-bought church, a Christian church. So I'm a Christian that is white or a Christian that is black. But again, I'm getting deep into this. This is beside the point. So as you can see, Trump now can relate to that.
Former President Trump speaking 2 weeks ago saying black people like him because he's been hurt and discriminated against. But that is not sitting well with some people. And you may know him from watching the NBA. That is Charles Barkley. But he's not happy with what Trump had to say. And he said so on national television. Here's his reaction.
If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
No, Gil.
Charles.
Gil.
You see, that's a bold statement. I know Charles don't mean that. You see, when you go to the all far left, they're going to say, oh, he meant that, and I'm with him on that. When you go to the far right, they're going to say, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's racist and this. I know, because of the way I grew up, I know he doesn't mean that. It's just, and you see, the issue with a lot of us is like, we don't know how to act in certain places or certain settings. It's just like now, I live in the ghetto. I'm used to eating KFC and throw the box under my car. Now, like there's an imaginary garbage bin there, or there's a garbage bin under my car. But I'm used to that. So now Section 8 promotes me and sending me into these rich neighborhoods, and I'm doing the same thing. You shouldn't do it at all. But many of us don't know how to act. So now you go into that rich neighborhood, they report you to Section 8, and now you get kicked out. Same thing for Charles Barkley. With your boys, you may say these things. You may be hanging out and joking and laughing and all of that. But guess what? On national TV, people are going to say, okay, if a baby or say a 2-year-old is wearing that 2-year-old is going to get punched in the mouth. This is how it's going to be taken by the right. If a woman is wearing that shirt, if a homosexual or transgender is wearing that shirt, they're going to get punched in the mouth by Charles Barkley. That's how they're going to take it. And it's hard to defend yourself from the right when it comes to a statement like that. The left gonna say, yes, I agree with him because Trump is a racist. Even though Biden have all the evidence on video that he's a racist. Trump doesn't have any. We still believe Trump is a racist. So their mind is set, and you and I can't change that. Neither will I try to change it, because that's not my job to change people's mind towards Trump, or I can't change people. I just speak truth, to take it or leave it. That's up to you. So now, but the middle is saying now, like a person like me, that he didn't mean that. He's not going to do that. He's just talking. But he should not say things like that. For a man of your status, you are a example to many people. People look up to you. You have many black men and white men and Spanish men aspire to be like Charles Barkley. In racist America, he's a millionaire. In racist America, he has everything at his fingertip. Everything. If he wants a Bentley right now, he can afford it. If he wants a $2, $3, $4, $5 million house, he can afford that in racist America. There's people who have played basketball overseas and barely can afford anything. So now the point I'm making is that you have to watch what you say. Especially especially when it comes to who you are as an example to many. Face all over social media, face all over TV. So you are a basketball stars to many. Many people hold you, many have wear your shoes and jerseys. So now, but be merciful and look at it from both angles. It's just Charles Barkley say things that he don't really mean. And that's my opinion. He didn't really mean that. But I just had to put my 2 cents on. Let's watch a little bit more.
Gail,
You really can't say that because, A, you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely. I'm going to just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
I'm going to bail
Then what?
myself out and go celebrate.
Depending on the state, he wouldn't even have to pay. Barkley, again, going on to say he would punch someone in the face, a black person, if they wore a T-shirt displaying this image here, the mugshot of the 45th president. Let's talk about it now with Stephen Davis. He's better known as MAGA Hulk, and he's back on National Report. Hey, Stephen, nice to see you. Just wanted to get your thoughts. What's your reaction to Charles Barkley, what he had to say?
I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. As a person of his size, his platform, he should not be espousing such things. It's egregious. He needs to be more careful of the things that he says, and especially since there's a lot of impressionable people who are going to listen to this and try to enact the same thing, which I would definitely discourage.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. The same thing. But as I told you, many people going to believe that he actually meant that. And it's hard to really get. I don't believe he did. He's just talking and got carried away in the moment. That's what we all do, you know. I've said the same statement when growing up. Now, You think I would come on YouTube and say that? Absolutely not. I won't say that. But if I'm around my friends and say, man, anyone vote for this person, we gonna fight. I'm gonna beat. We don't mean that. We're just talking. But again, it's hard to retract. Hard to retract.
Immensely, if you will, especially with someone like me. But it's actually rather interesting. This is coming from a person, the same person who once called Trump supporters crazy, right? I mean, who's the crazy person now, Charles? You know, as you sound like the typical, the prototypical unhinged leftist suffering from TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. So this is egregious. He knows better than to say something like this, and I hope that people don't take him literally in this regard, because we're going to land in a lot of legal trouble.
Exactly. I hope people don't take it literally, because it's not.
Once they don't have the bail money to bail themselves out. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I think he needs to retract this.
Yeah, Stephen, I want to.
Oh, that's another good point that he has made. Because what if others take it literally and say, man, I'm going to beat down on people who, I don't care if it's a woman, I don't care if they're gay, I don't care who they are, I'm just going to beat them down. How are they going to bail themselves out? When they go and apply for a job and see that, I forget the term, see that you was arrested for, I forget the term. But when they see you arrested for this kind of anger, this kind of violence, who gonna hire you? So you have to be very, very, very careful, especially as a grown man. And what you say, people look up to you, and now they're beating up people on the street for wearing a Trump mugshot. That's sad. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't as yet. If you disagree with me, leave it in a comment. If you agree with me, leave it in a comment. Thank you for listening, and peace out. May God bless you.